All right, Poodle fam, here we are. We are back. Wednesday therapy session. I feel like I'm coming in hot here. I'm looking at my meters. Thank you, youth, for getting the chat closed. Let me pull you up on the side over here for the YouTube chat. We have some exciting things going on for everybody in Poodle fam land. I thought I would dress up. We're talking business today, so I'm doing the suit for everybody. We've actually got some amazing, incredible news. Though we're going to talk about something that's a little bit not fun to talk about, as in down economies and stuff. We're going to talk about some really, really good. Some good stuff. Thank you very much. I have to dress up for my Poodle fam, right? Got my favorite lucky tie on. Now, some exciting things to talk about today, and some news of things coming up, and really exciting stuff that I've been holding on for a while, that it's now finally coming about. All right. A couple of things. First and foremost, okay, we're going to post it at the end of this show so you can see it. But over at on the Seek Twitter, so we're doing a Twitter Spaces tomorrow. That's Thursday, August 4th, at 1 o'clock my time. I think it's 4 o'clock Eastern. Pretty sure that is the times. Whatever that is at UTC, I guess that'd be 20 UTC. I am going to join their AMA. So I'm going to be on their show over at the Seek Twitter Spaces. Look for that tomorrow. We're going to have a good time, good conversation. Also, real reason I'm actually in a suit is probably to celebrate the new website coming out this weekend. It's actually done. I've got it kind of hidden. We've got to be able to share some more news, just updating it, stuff like that. And we're going to get that loaded this weekend. So that's some exciting stuff. We've been needing the new website, been working on it, been getting it done. We had to move it from, one platform to the other, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, finally completed. You're going to like that. Real reason I'm in a suit. Just got done doing an expose. The photographer has come out from Forbes magazine, Forbes family of companies. They're doing a little expose on me. And my role, and kind of my role, obviously, at the university, my history and stuff like that, and talking about some things going into the future. Obviously, getting some poodle mentioned in the actual article and the expose that'll be coming out. I've also been holding on. Those who were around at the beginning of the year knew some behind the scenes that I was working with Harvard Business Journal in order to get an article put out in a case study that when the market turn got pushed, that's going to be coming out pretty soon. So we're actually going to have some some news about us in the business world, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be timed with the Forbes article on my career. This is exciting stuff, and really excited about it. More to come as we go, but I'm really loving how this is starting to form and shape out. So those of you who knew some stuff from behind the scenes, this is finally happening. That's why you got to be careful what you say early, because you don't want to get people's hopes up, but that is happening. I'm also today actually here in the lab where we have the Poodle sponsored NFT art gallery. It's just, depending on, maybe I could, you know what? I might take this out and show you around a little bit. I'm going to show you, maybe I'll give you a quick little tour. It's not actually exciting, but because it still looks like a lot of just trash and junk right now, because it is a construction zone. But we're doing our getting ready for NFT LA coming up this weekend, and going to have some good stuff happening there. So really, really excited about this. Some great things happening. And can you tell I'm excited? That's why I dressed up for you. But first and foremost, now let's talk about today. I was going to have a guest on, but I knew today was going to be a crazy day with the film shoot coming onto campus with me. So I held off for a guest for today, just to be safe. We're going to have some guests coming back in the future weeks. Hopefully you've been enjoying how I've been bringing in a lot of our partner guests. We've been doing some community guests and getting more into the interview style. If you like that, let me know. That's what I want to continue. I want this show to be what you guys want it to be, how it's most entertaining to you, how it, informs you on the things that are going on. Also, I encourage you, as always, make sure if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Happy to take them as I continue to talk, because we're going to actually get into some important news. All right. Now, in the United States, and I would say honestly globally, because we know that the globe follows the U.S. economy, we just this last week entered a formal recession. As everyone knows, there's a political stuff going on as to whether or not we're really in a recession and things like that here. Politics aside, I'm going by the standard definition of a recession, and that is that there's a downward trend in the GDP for at least two quarters. All right, that's what we've seen. That's what we've had. I'm calling that a recession. Now, it is a different type of recession, because in a normal recession, the indicators are usually known ahead of time. But what we actually noticed, if you think about this is how I'm going to get to the crypto space coming up pretty quickly. We didn't really see this a year ago. We went from a high of highs to now a low of lows. Now, why is that? There's going to be a lot of different reasons, and I don't want to get into all of them. I'm going to give you my takes. A lot of it has to do with, obviously, the global pandemic. A lot of it has to do with supply chain, right? We all have been impacted. Work from home changes how often people are going to a strip mall and spending money locally. We're building up the Amazons. We're building up the online businesses. We've seen a growth in companies like Grubhub and things like that are a gig economy type of business, right? As opposed to our traditional businesses. So that's why what we've noticed is more of a move in where people are spending their money and hesitant on money, because what we've actually noticed is where we were at a high. If you think back to last 2021, March, April, May, where everyone was jumping on the meme coin, the meme coin slash NFT, hot NFT market. Everyone thought everything was going great. And then all of a sudden, things start to turn. And we've actually been in a downward trend for almost a year. It doesn't feel like it because you don't actually notice it during the initial hype. Well, that's exactly what's been happening. We've been seeing this downward trend, and now we have finally gotten there. I actually believe we are close to the low, if not the low, if not starting to recover. I don't know. That's not financial advice. I'm betting my money on it. I'm investing on that fact. I think that that's where we're at and where we're going to continue to move and trend up. I think we're going to stay flat for a while, because that's what happens. When you actually enter the recession, certain things start to kick into effect. And the most common, what we just saw, and we saw it from the Fed, has already said that they're going to raise interest rates again. What happens with interest rates? People are spending more money. We know we have higher gas prices. We also know we're going to have higher interest rates. That means that more money goes to interest, more money goes into things like your necessities. And we know that crypto, and in really any traditional investing, is actually a secondary thought. The average person does not max out their 401k. You'd actually be surprised how many people, even if your employer gives you an opportunity to have a matching amount of money into a 401k or a retirement or a 401(b), how many people do not max that out, nor even put in more. Okay, that's in normal. That's actually in good times. In bad times, it even becomes worse. All right. So what's that mean? It means people don't have extra money to spend, right? Why? Because you're spending it on gas, you're spending it on food, you're spending it on increasing wages, right? We see in California there is now a move to move the minimum wage up even more. What is that going to do? That means that the price of going out is just going to cost more, right? It does. That's the nature of it, and therefore people have less money. Now, what you've seen. Next topic, how does this apply to crypto? How this apply to crypto is actually really important. I think it was just today, Robinhood has announced that they are going to lay off 23%, or just laid off 23% of their workforce. Earlier this year, they laid off 9% of their workforce. Okay, so 9% of your 100 brings you down to 91, obviously. Then 23% of that 91 left now just makes a hell of a lot. Okay, so you have to realize that their business is now really dropped by, they have 2/3 the workforce that they had at the beginning of the year. That's a huge change. Coinbase did announce 1 year ago. It was right during the hype. I think it was in June, at the end of second quarter of last year. Coinbase announced that they were going to triple their workforce. Okay, this is a little over a year ago. They were going to triple their workforce. This is when everyone was throwing money. Everyone had extra money. Everyone thought the stock market was going great. Everyone thought that the economy was going great. And they started spending extra money on crypto. They started spending money on things that had a higher risk level. Okay? Coinbase announces, we're going to triple our workforce. Only 6 months later, not even 6 months later, they announce a hiring freeze. Okay? So you realize you went now from we want to triple, we think that this is how good our business is going to be, to now, to then doing a hiring freeze. Okay? Now, 6 months later from that, which is actually just ending the second quarter of this year, they announced they're going to start to do layoffs. Okay, those are the two largest crypto companies in the United States. I should have looked up crypto.coms because they're obviously the number 3, but I would assume that they're on the same thing, and they just invested to turn the Staples Center into crypto.com arena. And that was a lot of money thrown out with a 20-year, I believe, contract. So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of faith in the industry. But yet what we're seeing is a downturn in crypto layoffs. A lot of that, and just my personal belief, is it had a lot to do with the fake money that was given out during COVID. And take it, I'm not going to get political one way or the other. We had to keep things moving. When people were not working, we gave away money to keep the economy moving, people fed, people in their houses. We extended student loan stopping. We extended the moratoriums on evictions. We did all of those things in order to keep the economy moving. Right or wrong, whatever, it was the decision that was made. And actually, I have no problem with the decision to keep people, especially during a global pandemic, to keep everybody fed and keep them housed, okay? At some point, the piper had to get paid, and that is now what's happening, right? As people are returning to work, what you're recognizing is supply chain doubled on that, is that now you're having employees show up to work, and we can't deliver product. That becomes an immediate problem when it comes to employers. So that's why employers now have to lay off. When you are told that your microchip is not going to be delivered for, say, 8 to 12 months, and that means you can't finish your manufacturing for 12 to 14 months, that has a problem. We saw that Nancy Pelosi just went to Taiwan yesterday. China announces sanctions against Taiwan, including the sand that's needed to make microchips. The single largest microchip maker in the world is Taiwan, which means we have an extended supply chain issue happening. Okay, so that's what piles on to recession and our crypto layoffs and what's going to happen with the supply chain and hence the market downturn. There you go. That was a whole lot of no people putting anything in the chat. Well, I just gave the world view of how we got to where we are. All right, this is the reality. This is where we are today, and this is what's happening to the markets, okay? So now, what does that mean? We all know, I actually just had the photographer from Forbes. We were sitting over coffee. We got done a little bit early. We were having coffee, and he started asking me about what do I really think about NFTs. He's like, what is the craze? Do I really think it's going to stand long term? And I said, here's the thing. I believe, and I want to say that probably most of our Poodle community and all of the Seek community, probably we all don't necessarily believe that it's the meme coin or token or NFT that is the long-term play. I'll say it again. I actually don't believe that we think it's the meme coin or the NFT that's the long-term play. The long-term play is the blockchain. We believe in the power of the blockchain. One thing we love about Poodle, and this is going to get to how we leverage this, look at how we've moved. Those who were part of V1 while we were on the Ethereum blockchain, what were we doing on the Telegram? We were throwing out meme after meme after meme and doing all this stuff. How cool is this? How cool is that? How cool is this? Extra meme. And we were living on a bunch of JPEGs, right? That was really the value of our brand, was however many JPEGs we could put out, or like I did the video in front of SpaceX that one day, right? That was the fun of our token. But we moved, right? The market moved. The market moved to NFTs. The market moved to payments. And what we had to do was move, and we had to shift with that. So what did we do? We did 3D NFTs, right? We did app-based NFTs. We did real-life augmented reality NFTs. Guess what? The market also likes trading card NFTs, 2Ds. What did we do? We moved to 2Ds, right? The market realizes that this is also an opportunity to use it as payments. We got partnering with now payments, so that could now be used, right? The idea now is that we start to move and rotate, and to use a COVID word, pivot, where the blockchain moves. I actually had the conversation with the photographer, and I said, listen, here's the deal. You're now you are probably the single most valuable asset moving forward into the new world. Okay, into the new future. It used to be said that engineers and devs were probably the safest job you could get a degree in. The fact is, devs are a dime a dozen now. Sorry if you are a dev, hate to break it to you, you're a dime a dozen. 6-year-olds can code websites, JavaScript, C#, and all of that. That's the fact, okay? Now, what we recognize is immersive, creative content is king. Again, immersive, creative content is king. And that is the key. It's right here. I see it right in here. The great. JP, the comment, utility behind the NFT is what's valuable, right? Most people only see the picture. They don't see what's behind it. And this is what I wanted to get to you. It's not about the picture. Now, the picture's cool. The picture is a representation of what's behind it. For us, it's a representation of, hey, I'm part of the Poodle fam. But picture this, and what I told the person, if you want to be smart, go all in on taking everything you have and give it a digital signature, because now that's your certificate of authenticity, right? I think personally, people can agree or disagree. I believe that digital certification, digital signing, certificates of authenticity are now the value behind what the NFT really is, right? If you were to use, for example, those who've seen me, do the show from home know that I have a Banksy that hangs on my sidewall, right? Think of it this way. I have my Banksy. The Banksy survived my house fire, but you know what didn't? The certificate authenticity, right? Because it was in the garage. It did not survive. I can never prove that it's authentic or not, right? I know it is. We all know it is, but I have no proof. But what if Banksy did his graffiti and then sold the certificate authenticity on the blockchain on an NFT site? And you could now leave that art up, because the first thing that happens when Banksy does something, people go steal it, right? Now what if the world could still enjoy the art, but one person could now own it? And you could now move that because it's digitally signed. The artist continues to get paid. The charity behind it continues to get paid with every move forward. That's what happens. What if, and everyone knows I work at a university here, I'll be working on the course that we'll be utilizing this digital creative space and NFT gallery with, is as you take that and you got your certificate, you did your course, and we gave you a digital certificate. This is what we're doing with the Poodle Academy, okay? Poodle Academy, how are we now leveraging what's going forward? Is what we want to do is say, look, as you understand how these certain things work, how the market works, you now can get a NFT, a digital certificate showing that you have mastered that skill. Look at a college campus. What if we did no longer send a paper diploma, or you had to go to the registrar's office and fill out a form and wait 2 weeks to prove that you graduated, but we just sent you an NFT when you graduated, and then an employer now wants to hire you. All they have to do is say, give me your wallet address, and they can look under your wallet and see that whether or not you got it, and they can see every course you took, and they can see all the digital information behind that. That's the value. That's what I was explaining to the artist about, and said, look, you are positioned well. What moves next? Because he asked me, what am I going to do? People don't care about my pictures. I said they do care. And here's why. Because your pictures can be digitally created and can create a digital twin of this earth. A true digital twin of this earth. We've already seen it happening. We already see the metaverse, explosion. We see the augmented reality explosion and virtual reality explosion. Who is going to be into that? How are you going to leverage that? What do you think Poodle's been doing? Everyone who's been on the back end sees exactly all the partnerships we're making with, say, Lakeview, and we're doing all of our other metaverse partnerships. We have a couple in the works. We have some cool NFT, some music, some other art things that we're doing in the background because we can become a part of the way the digital world is moving. That's what's happening, okay? What does that have to do with the down market? This is the cheapest we could ever do to get into that, okay? Let's say this again. When we are there's a conversation on our on kind of our mod channel this week, and some of the mods, and said, they said, well, where is all the money with Poodle? Well, one thing Poodle was not ever created with was which some tokens do. They throw 25% into this mysterious wallet that you don't know what's going to happen. How much money is in there? What are they going to do with it? Is that going to dump? Well, we never had we have a contract wallet. A contract wallet is just what happens with the redistribution. It's the part that goes into the marketing and builds up from there to pay our expenses. Those, you can see it. It's the wallet. I think it's like number 3rd or 4th down. It's pretty easy what the contract wallet is. It only has like $36,000 or something in there. But the beautiful thing is, that's the value we're at. If we see currently, I believe this morning it might be in the 290s. I think it was 283 this morning for BNB. Well, BNB had hit on 600. It's 50% down, okay? 50% is fantastic for us. Why? Because if we need to leverage partnerships right now, we're getting in at 50% of the price. The entire market is down. So when you come in and you help invest in Poodle or any of, I'm gonna be honest, I'll just say any of this ecosystem projects, right? I think that this is a key time for us as a community and a larger community to come together and go, look, someone's gonna come out of this bear market, and who's gonna have the entire ecosystem of everything? Whatever you love, you love lottery and gaming, whether you love investing in property, whether you love using a token like ours as a transactional token within a metaverse, all of these things, if you want to take your 3D NFT and put it in a metaverse, whether you like these things, whatever you like, there's going to be somewhere within that system that you can do it. Not to mention, everyone within the system is KYC'd. You know who we are. Look, this is not an avatar. This is me in my Burberry tie, okay? Just me in my Burberry tie. And you know who I am. I'm not hiding behind an avatar. Our team doesn't. Sasha doesn't. No one in this ecosystem does. Everybody comes out and says, look, this is who we are. We believe in the power of the blockchain more than we believe in anything else. We know there's going to be a move. I'm going to tell you too, and here's the thing. I'm going to give everyone some financial advice. You want some financial advice? What's the one issue right now the world has? I already said it if you've been taking notes. It's supply chain. Once supply chain catches up, the economy will do better. Now, if you just Google power of the blockchain, all the benefits of the blockchain, 2 usually come up. Health comes up. Obviously, using it as a currency comes up. But the biggest one that is always listed and people overlook is supply chain. Do you realize that the blockchain, in fact, most of the supply chain actually already lives on the blockchain, the blockchain could solve the global supply chain problem? Let me explain how. Let's say, for example, you have a project and you know that microchips are holding something up, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So therefore, you put in your project, you can now have your contract trigger certain things. So for example, one piece is off 6 months, but want something off 3 months. Once that 6-month thing happens at the 3-month mark, it can trigger something else to happen. So your logistics start to work together, which can now make sure that the entire economy comes back together. You're not in this, hurry up and wait area. So you want investment? Get into the supply chain. This is one area that I would love Poodle to get into is how can we help? I don't know the solution, but I think there's an opportunity there. Digital real estate, huge. Real estate within the real world has put onto the blockchain. Another huge possibility. Why? Because what do we see? We see a housing downturn. What happens in a housing downturn? If you remember the last housing burst, people wanted to go back to reality. And now the reality and how can you secure it? How do you secure your real property? You put it on the blockchain, it becomes a true asset, right? These are things that we're going to start to see. That's how we leverage it, right? So I've talked about the recession. I talked a little bit about our layoffs. I talked about our market downturn, what that means, the main cause, how we're going to get out of that, show you what it means for us. Real question, how do we leverage it? All right, how do we leverage it? This is the part where I say this is not financial advice, even though it is. By the way, you already know. I should put here, anyone guess what the best way to leverage the economy right now is? We all know it's dollar cost averaging, right? Here's the beautiful part. Everyone knows that I dollar cost average every day. People know which wallet is mine. They can see that I continually keep buying our own token as well as all of our other partner tokens. And as I dollar cost average, I am increasing my total long-term value. Why? Because we know what's going to raise. What actually happened, and those who were looking over the last couple weeks, we did have a few big buys, of course, and then we had a few sales, because you know what, that's freaking marketing, okay? I mean, that's the market, that's how it works. When there's a big buy, there's a big sell. When there's a big sell, there's a big buy, right? People take advantage of it. But what people should recognize is as we had this pump earlier in the week, and I think almost every one of the other tokens within the SEEK, I was kind of watching, obviously I pay attention to Poodle more, but do you know that was also timed with a rise in the rest of the market? Did you notice that all of the tokens went up? Did you notice that even the stock market started to rise, right? This is what happens when you are a token that relies upon the price of BNB, which relies on the price of Ethereum, which in theory, and you know Ethereum is different, in truth, it relies upon the price of Bitcoin because they're all tied together. And the main markets look at that as its leading indicator, right? So what happens is they rise, so did we, okay? This is exactly what's going to happen. So when we had a little poll out there, one of the Twitter things said, which of these tokens is going to lose a zero in the next month or two? And of course, we went out, we shilled ourselves, and we think it's us. But here's the thing. What people need to understand, we can lose a zero without doing anything. Without another single buy, we can lose a zero. Why? Because the market is going to recover. And when the market recovers, because that's what happens in economies, they do it. I did a show a few weeks ago, maybe it was a couple months ago, about downturn markets. How do you do it? Dollar cost averaging. And I said the same point. And the point was, look, we are based on the value of other tokens. So as those recover, we naturally recover because those end up buying the value of ours. So that's what a liquidity pool does. It matches your token with the other value. Now, we will naturally go up, but if we also work, here's how to do it. Your largest percentage, okay, those who are mathematicians, if we are at a 1-for-1, I'm going to tell you this right now, okay. Oh, this is weird to do in the camera, but if you're a 1-for-1, if one doubles, yeah, the camera is backwards on me, that's going to freak me out. All right, one doubles, we will naturally go up with the price, right? And then BNB and all that goes up, we will naturally go up, and we'll go up in relation to the value of our liquidity that's locked, okay, right? I think everyone knows that. I can go into that and do a whole episode about that if you want me to. Now, let's do this. So they go up, we do nothing, but we'll go up because that's what happens. Now, what if we put work in? So if they're at, say, at a 1 and we're at a 1, but we put enough work and we invest in our own token, we make the strategic partnerships, and without this one going up, the BNB going up or whatever, we get to a 2. What happens when this doubles? Our 2 goes to a 4. What happens when this 2 goes to a 3? We go to an 8. Do you see how that works exponentially? So if we're here and we're going to do some extra work, what if we go to a 3 and it goes to a 2, we're at a 6. Goes to a 3, we're at a 12, right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It's actually just math, everybody. That's how this works. So the best way to leverage is to work hard now. One of the stories that I was reading about the Robinhood layoffs had made a comment about how many billions and billions of dollars that were sitting dormant in accounts. And in other words, what they saw was they judged accounts that were active in the last year and then became inactive, did not sell their stuff, right? We know the people who sold, right? We do know that the biggest seller when the market started to downturn were the hedge funds, right? Because hedge funds had to sell in order to get out of riskier investments to move into safer investments. That's what they do. They have to keep their doors open, love them or hate them. That's what happens, right? So but here's the thing, though. They did this and talked about how, like, and I don't know the exact number, but I'm going to be close, okay? But it was somewhere around 60% of all of the addresses on the main exchanges were dormant for at least 6 months. Did not pull their money out, but also did not do any other trades, okay? Dormant. Did not pull their money out, but also didn't do any other trades. What does that mean? I mean, they didn't invest more. They didn't dollar cost average. They're not doing what you're supposed to do. They bought at the height, and then the market dropped. They didn't sell, so they didn't take a loss. They just left it there. And they're going to wait for the recovery. What does that mean? They know it's going to recover. They believe in the recovery. Now, if they were smart investors, they'd be buying now. They would double up, take their fiat, and then double up right now. Most people don't do that. Over 60% are dormant accounts, okay? That means that is, to me, a huge positive about the belief in crypto. Again, people probably lost money, so they might feel burned because of the down market. But guess what? They probably feel burned off their 401k too. If I look at the value of my 401k and I get ticked off, okay? It's down a hell of a lot too. Obviously, traditional investing are usually safer, and crypto is more risky. But what you see is that when the market recovers and we move into a bull market again, which we know will happen in the next 10 to 15 months, that's how it works, probably even less than that. I believe I said before, I believe it's going to be slightly right at Christmas. I think that will be the turn. But what you're going to now see, those dormant accounts are going to start to have a little activity. And they're going to start, okay, I see things moving. I might not have made all my money back, but here's the question I ask, where, one, can I make my money back faster? So in other words, if my value has dropped in half, but I move it to something that has higher potential, something that is the 10 to 100 to 1,000x potential, can I now get back to where I was? Can I get out of my loss and create profit faster? That's the first question they're asked. Second, they're going to say, when I break even, do I keep it going? Do I trust it? Or now do I get out? Okay? Those are the people we need to worry about. I don't mind the people who are going to go in, and then there's going to be a third, that people just throw more money in, right? Because they're going to be like, okay, we're out of it, you're going up, we're shooting back up, whatever the trend is, whatever it's the 3D NFTs or 2D, whatever the trend is at the time. Is it meme coins again? It might be. Who knows? They're going to throw more money at it. So you got those three kind of cases. But I'm worried about, okay, what are we going to do? As a Poodle fam, as part of our ecosystem of tokens, what are we going to do? We need to worry about the people who, when it gets to break even, say, I'm not doing that again. That's why we need to focus on our utility now, right? We need to focus on our utility now. We need to show that we can increase our own value despite the current market. The only way we do that is by putting in our own work. If you are part of the Poodle community and you are sitting there and waiting for Sasha to do all the work, for me to do all the work, for the mods to do all the work, then I'm sorry, then this is not how we're going to do it. We need everyone to take their skills, jump in, and start to get that work in. Increase the value of our own token while the market is down. Then that's where we're going to see the value. The value goes up, we go up. Then what's going to happen? When the market recovers, which it will, people are going to look at which tokens are doing it, which have performed best over time. Well, the ones that perform best over time are the ones that did the work to increase. Remember, I just did this thing, which kind of freaked me out. I feel like I'm doing the walk like Egyptian dance. But if we bring our own self up, we don't have to bring ourselves up a lot. If we could actually only legitimately 3x ourselves during the bear market, you realize 3x from where we're at is not a lot, but we could 3x ourselves. I'll even put the challenge out to the entire ecosystem. If we partner together and really partner together and say, let's take the entire ecosystem and 3x ourselves, look what happens. Where's everyone going to throw their money? They're going to throw their money toward us because they're going to see that we're safe. They're going to see that we're doxed. They're going to see that we're trustworthy, and they're going to see that we put in work when most people bailed. And that's the value. All right, that's how we leverage it. It's actually really simple. Dollar cost average, buy your tokens up now and put in the work for utility to bring our own value up during the bear market. That's all I'm saying. I don't even care if I ever see another 10x thing put there. Do we break a zero? I just want 3x. 4x, great, right now, because that becomes exponential growth when the market recovers. Then the eyes will come on. The eyes will come on to us, and as I just said, why am I in a suit? We got mainstream articles coming out. You've already seen the marketing happening. You've probably seen it behind the scenes a little bit. We have got mainstream stuff coming out. So are we going to be dormant with a Telegram that only has 4 or 5 comments a day? Are we going to be out there and be the same, we're out here to show who we are, token that we were a year ago? It's on us. We're the only one on us. And as the eyes are watching, we know the eyes are watching, what's going to happen? That's it. That's my lecture for the day, everybody. I'm on a college campus. I'm doing a lecture. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it made sense to everybody. And I will be back next week. I think, where am I? DC. I'm in DC this week. I am back. I think I have to do a pre-record because I think I'm on a plane coming back from DC at the time. I might be wrong. I might actually be at the airport, in which case I can do it. But anyway, we can do some fun stuff from Washington, D.C., has some great meetings and all that, talking to some CIOs and some people who are very big in the metaverse space and the dev side of the metaverse space. I got those conversations coming up in D.C. Thank you too, as well, everyone. Hopefully this was a little educational, a little inspirational. And then last, don't forget, if you're listening to this today, tomorrow I am joining the Seek AMA. Come join. It's going to be a great time, a great conversation that is on the Twitter Spaces. We'll be posting it. We'll pin it for you. So again, thank you, everyone. This was great. This was my weekly therapy. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you soon. Take care, Poodle fam.